And a good day to you all. Welcome to another edition of Weather Academy. Tommy D, your weather guy here. When I do it, I usually like to talk about more of what's happening currently. And that is going to be the case for today. Now, we are in the month of April. Now, April typically is a month where we get a lot of changeable weather. And this month has been no exception. We've had high temperatures anywhere from 87 degrees less than 2 weeks ago to the high temperature for this Wednesday, which probably will knock it out of the mid to upper 30s. So a 50-degree swing between the high temperatures and the low temperatures. And oftentimes you get those cloudy conditions. And that's how things go for the month of April. And again, this one will be no exception. Now, one of the things that I do want to discuss with you is the weather that's going to happen here. One of the other things that we often get in April are wide swings in the kind of weather that we can expect here. So when we look at our futurecast, a lot of times we futurecast. Now I'm recording this actually Tuesday, so I recorded this yesterday. So this is all yesterday's here. And as you know, usually when we have futurecasts, that tells you where we believe the models will be depicting where they think rain and snow will fall. Now, they're not perfect. Yesterday we had no snow in the morning, and yet futurecast that clearly had the snowfall that was going to be covering much of the area. But it did correctly indicate that things would diminish during the afternoon. Now, what's going to happen as we head on toward what happened really from last night? We have a situation here where I'm going to spread this picture out, and I want you to pay attention to the winds. Remember when we talked about fronts and low pressure systems? Fronts are areas that have, fronts are areas where cold air and warm air meet. And those are areas that we usually find what we call convergence. You need air to converge, and then they go up. Other areas where the air converges are low pressure systems. So when we zoom out here, notice from last night, see how the air here, the winds are going toward the north, and the winds are going toward the south. So where you see this solid, somewhat reddish line here, even though it is a cold front, should be colored in blue, but it is red here. See all across, so we had this line of precipitation there. That is where the front is, and at least that's where it was expected to be according to Futurecast. Now, I want you to look right here. This is Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, right here. Notice we're getting a little bit. Let me move that over here. Notice a little swirl starting to form here, and that is a low pressure system. And watch with time how it develops, and it moves over here into eastern Ohio. And now we're going to move in. Again, this is by very early this morning, and watch up here as a new low starts to form. So what happens along these fronts as we go backward and then forward? Notice here and here, low pressures form, and that's typical when they form along and near fronts. Now, the important thing to note here is that, as we go on through the late night and early morning hours, the position of these, we'll call it a double barrel low pressure, the position of these is such where we are in a great position to get snow from this, because the lows, they're not so far away that we lose all of the, what we call the dynamics. You lose all of the push and the uplift of the low. But it's close enough where it can really get a lot of moisture and suck it into the system. If the low goes right over you, you kind of lose that. That's why, we think, gee, low pressure right over us, we should have the worst weather. No, that's not the case. It's where this low is located now, where we start thinking some pretty good snows. And that's why, and notice the Futurecast, notice by, right before daybreak, some pretty good snow here Now, again, I'm recording this Tuesday, so I'm hoping it comes true here that we get some pretty good snow, even downtown Erie. So notice how that low moves more toward the east. So we get on the backside of that low. That puts us on the cold side of the low. And that's why we were thinking some pretty good snow amounts. In fact, some of you in the traditional snow belts, I was thinking for today 5 to 6 inches of heavier wet accumulation. Now, with the wind coming off the 46-degree lake water, downtown Erie should stay mild enough, just above freezing, where we won't get probably more than an inch. Though sometimes on the I-90 corridor, that's kind of the gray area. A lot of times with these systems, sometimes we get hit, but sometimes the lake keeps us warm enough. So that is the gray area. The typical snowbelt areas, places like Edinboro and Corry, you know who you are, and out toward western Warren and Chautauqua counties, that's where we expected the best precipitation and the best amount of snowfall. Then afterwards, we'll probably get some lake effect as well. Now, the good news is whenever these snows happen in April, they normally don't last very long. And while we do expect the temperatures to stay cold through Thursday, by Friday, the winds start to shift away. And I don't believe I'm going to go out far enough here. Do we go out to Friday? Let me see here. Not quite. Okay, but you can even see Thursday, the winds go from now toward the west. And what we'll find here eventually is that those winds will go southwest and help give us some milder temperatures for Friday. So they won't last very long. So there you go, everyone. We're looking at some pretty good, snowfall right on through, this afternoon, and then things start to taper off. Then it gets milder for Friday and into the weekend. That's what we have for you today. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.